Stuff on the fire! Push him! Can't catch me!
Stab him again! Keep trying, we'll get him!
Sure, my boys will hear about this, and you'll suffer! I promise you that! Watch me escape now!
Did you hear that?
See what a man of Gondor. Shouldn't you be cowering behind the walls of your doomed city? Fuck you, Glob! Oh, did I interrupt your fancy moves? Get this dog!
Get over there! Die! Keep him off balance! Let's go! You're in my sight! Watch out for the fire! Kill you! Kill you! Stop the fire!
Come back when you find
All of us! Find the Grey Walker!
cameras that we got in the women's bathroom. Things that Shitstain never understood about television, didn't know how to prepare for, and didn't know were going to come up, but had to be asked because that way the broadcast could function. I would usually be the one to do that because everybody else just wanted to keep their head down and not get heat with it. So Mike would read these formats, and every once in a while, because I knew him, I could see him non-visually but mentally rolling his eyes at the shit that he had to read. That's why he was a great format reader. He had to read that shit with a straight face and in a straight voice, like that everybody in that room wasn't secretly laughing or pissed off at why is this fucking moron writing this shit. That was that. And it was especially embarrassing whenever the representative from Spike Television would come off the golf course and actually sit in the production meetings, because I had the feeling that he was going back to Spike and going to he was also the same guy that did the UFC shows back then. And I could see him laughing with the fucking UFC TV crew going, you wouldn't believe the moron that writes that wrestling show. He can't even spell cat. They fucking laugh at him behind his back because it's all a horse shit. It was embarrassing.
Mike today may have made the greatest commentating debut of all time. That When Worlds Collide AAA pay-per-view in November '94, one of the greatest pay-per-views ever.
Yeah.
It was Chris Cruz and Mike Tenay. Mike Tenay had a radio show, the Wrestling Insiders, a great radio show in Las Vegas. But to the best of my knowledge, he was never a commentator.
He had never done television.
And he was amazing that day because, it's one of the things you need today. Excalibur is this to an extent that it's bothersome to someone like me. But you need someone to explain shit and make it sound logical and you understand and it draws you in. And Mike Tenay explained Lucha Libre to a lot of people that never knew anything about it before.
Well, and see, here's the difference between Mike and Excrement. Besides the ridiculous visual, there was Mike, a grown adult man. He looks like an announcer. He's not an ex-jock. He's not even trying to, like Excalibur, play one on television, even though nobody thinks or knows that he was. Mike was a grown adult man with a good broadcast voice in a learned fashion, explaining things for people who didn't know them instead of screaming buzzwords at people that already knew what the fuck he was talking about to begin with. And he didn't ridiculously go so deep into screaming every Spanish move of a name. Excrement does the same thing with Japanese stuff. But Mike informed people about what Lucha Libre was, the effect on the culture, who the people were, and some of the key moves and things without going so deep that you were lost without taking notes. And he wasn't just I know Excrement has gone through adolescence and puberty, but he never lost the attitude. He's still a fan doing commentary over VHS tapes in a basement for fun because he's 20 and he delivers pizzas for a job or whatever. But now he's a 40-something-year-old man. He sounds the same way. Tenay sounded like a learned broadcaster explaining details about this new form of sport that you were watching on that pay-per-view. And he just had a more, as he always has, he has a more, what's the word I'm searching for? They believe he's calling the professor like today. God. Sell you the show and explain the show. The other idiot wrestling than you do. That's why they're in that job telling you they're not annoying with it like some fucking mark goof like excrement. That's the difference. I've seen mask on, but if he debuted as a human being, as an announcer, instead of trying to trade off his dubious pseudo-celebrity in the underground wrestling community, if he'd have debuted as a person wearing a fucking collar and tie that was informing us about these new wrestlers we may not have heard of, that may have fun. But when you got a fucking idiot to get me just because he's friends with the bosses, even though nobody's ever heard of him, and he wants to, every time somebody does something, well, that's the same thing he did to me in Japan in the Korakuen Hall 18 years ago. Fuck you. The people, even though it might be true, because yes, he did go work outlaw shows in Japan, like the other marks do. They take little, if any, money to go to Japan and kill themselves because they say they did it. But I guarantee you, past the really hardcore AEW audience, everybody thinks he's full of shit. No way that pudgy guy in a fucking gimmick Mexican luchador mask actually wrestled in Japan, even if he did. Because it looks preposterous. That's the difference between a quality announcer that instructs and informs the fans and a goof that tries to be part of the show himself.
Well, I certainly wish we had more Mike Tenay's on commentary today, but do you know what he's doing right now? Do you know what he's doing today?
I think he is doing something with sports and gambling in Las Vegas again, right?
Well, I don't know about that. I was going to say that I heard that he's trying to make his computer run faster.
I'll make you run faster. I'll chase you out of this house, right? How many of these daggum commercials are we doing here today?
We're popular. We're very popular.
Boss of this show, boy, you would think we've done everything we can to run these sumbitches off, you would think. But nevertheless, they keep coming back for more. Well, folks, if you want your computer, finally we come to Austin Theory in Vince McMahon's office. And again, I can't tell whether he can talk or not because of this horseshit they're giving him. He's acting like a bonehead simpleton. He's supposed to be the goofy kid that Vince is trying to take under his wing. He just has to play off of whatever Vince is doing and say these things they tell him to say, so we don't know whether he can talk or not, if he was actually left to his own devices. But in this, he wanted a late number in the Rumble from Vince, and Vince, why do you think I have anything to do with that? Because you own the fucking company and you run everything else. You had people looking for $100 million egg. But anyway, Vince blew him off and tells him to beat AJ Styles tonight and bring him back a good selfie. So, since AJ Styles is wrestling Austin Theory, I'm going to watch this. And remember, 2 weeks ago, they gave us like 3 or 4 minutes of this match, and then Grayson Waller interfered, and they got another disqualification out of it. So this time I was going to time and see, do they give these guys some time? Are they serious about trying to get this guy over? Is this going to be more bullshit? And unfortunately, it's still the WWE crowd, and they're conditioned, don't really care about the matches, especially don't get excited, because we got big entrances and videos for you to watch on the screen coming up. So let's get this pesky match out of the way. But in this case, they gave him some time. And again, I'm trying to find a flaw in Austin Theory. It's like he's been working for 10 years, and a talented and working for 10 years. He not only gives, but takes shit perfectly. I'm talking about, well, there was one example in this match. AJ had put him down on the mat. He's laying there on the mat, and he's kind of selling what's been done to him, and AJ hits the ropes. He's going to come with that running, sliding forearm thing he does, right? Well, Theory, at the same time as he's not looking at AJ, sits up so he's in position, but he's dizzy, and you can see it on his face, and then he looks up just too late to move, and sees AJ, and the shock is on his face, and then he takes it perfectly. And he's always in the right position, but he's not waiting there for the shit. He's open for it, but he's not inviting it. He meets it coming in. That's timing and positioning. I don't know where this kid fucking came from. He wasn't out of place with Finn Balor. He's not out of place with AJ Styles. And what is he, 22 years old or whatever he is?
24.
Okay. He gave AJ, at one time he shot him off for a great turnbuckle, followed him through, and landed on the mat, gave it authority. Did a good spot going to the break. He's trying for a superplex. AJ pushes him off the top, and he rolls over with it and then does his roll and leaps back up and drop kicks AJ, takes a nice bump to the floor. The first segment went 7 minutes. Then they go to the break, and coming back, they went another 7. And on the other side of the break, AJ was fighting back from underneath, but Theory was getting heat on him. Nice spinning backbreaker. And, I'm pointing out nice moves that he does, and everybody's going to say, Cornette doesn't like the moves. No, when it's a guy that's got all this basic shit together so well and gets every concept and can do good, safe, fucking impactful-looking moves, well, that's just swell. He doesn't rush. He takes his time. He works like a heel. There was a one spot where he just was going to give AJ an elbow drop, and AJ moved. It was a different kind of elbow drop, and he sold it perfectly. Theory did. Not too much, like he's just dead and laying there, but not too little, like it didn't make any difference. He fed right up into AJ's shit. He feeds into everything. And then late in the match, they went back and forth and did a few back and forth false finishes. Honestly, well, you didn't see this, but the AEW audience would have been going insane for this, because not only was it the quality of shit that Page and Danielson were doing, but it was, especially if the AEW audience had sit through what they had just seen beforehand, they would have been throwing babies in the air. But they like the matches because that's they put importance in the wrestling in the ring, even if it's not always good. So their fans react more to what's going on, and it's easier to get guys over having good matches. So anyway, they did a spot where AJ went for the springboard into the forearm, and Theory at the last second pulled the rope out from underneath his feet. It was perfect timing. And then Theory tried to get the pin with the top spread and his feet on the ropes, but the referee caught it at 2. So he gets up and yells at the referee, turns around, Styles hits the springboard into the forearm, boom, 1, 2, 3. If he's going to lose, at least he lost to AJ, and at least it was a great match. But they gave him 14 minutes plus the 3-minute break. And I can't find anything wrong. I wasn't the actual one to work with it, but the only thing that looked like a potato that looked out of place in this match, AJ hit him at one point with a forearm coming up off the deck, and the way Theory sold it just dropped and was dizzy, and it was out of place because AJ hadn't made his comeback, made me think that I think he clocked him, and he knocked him unawares for a second or two. But that was AJ. I couldn't find anything Austin Theory did wrong. He's going to be the best worker in the business in less than 5 years. And right now, to be perfectly honest with you, I will posit this to you, Brian Last. I say that Austin Theory right now, at this stage of his career, is better than Adam Page, the AEW World Champion.
The other day, what did you say? The other day you said he's better at this point in his career than Cena was at this point in his career, correct? Mm-hmm. Was that the way you put it?
Yep.
And now you're saying he's better than Adam Page overall at this point in his career, but Adam Page as the world champion, not as a couple of years into his career or whatever it is.
No, I'm saying right now, his physique is better. I'm not saying Page looks like shit, but Theory's physique is better.